What's up, everybody? I'm Dr. Winters, and let me tell you, the spring is spring, and Easter was fun. You probably got plenty of Easter eggs and all the candy and everything, and god dang, I love beautiful weather, and I just wish it wouldn't go away. You know what's as beautiful is all those crazy dental videos you guys tagged me in, and well, I guess it's time to go ahead and start reacting. Also, please subscribe if you haven't. I need to get this bracket off my teeth, and I can't do it till you hit me 10 million followers, please. Thank you. POV, your HB got braces and tried eating a cut. What's an HB? Oh my gosh, he's in pain. The human body is pretty wild. There is a reason why, to be fair, braces are not as painful as it looks, okay? Unless it's the first week or two. And that's because your body has a pain response, okay? When you do things that your body is not used to, it gives you, signals saying, don't do that, or step away from that hot stove, or do that. And so if you're pushing pressure on your teeth the wrong way, your teeth are gonna signal via pain, hey, don't do that, you're moving your teeth, and I like my tooth where it's at. Now, the cool part is if that pain continues or that pressure continues for a week or two, your body says, well, I guess this is just what it is. And now it responds to it by going away. So while the first day you're in super pain, you can't even eat a cupcake like that, which is kind of crazy. 2 weeks later, he's gonna have no pain. He'll be able to eat a whole steak if he wants to, and it'll be just fine. Defo said, I used to think people were being dramatic. They were not, and I'm not gonna lie. It is very sore. I wouldn't say painful, it is very sore. It's like you worked out every muscle in your body, and the next day and you're just like, oh, I'm so sore. It's muscle soreness, not pain. Ilana says, and your teeth feel all wobbly all of a sudden. Do you guys ever get the one where like you push on it, and you just feel this tiny little, it's like a little suction. I remember that when I had my braces. Tony says the pain's real, even water hurts. And to be fair, that's a little braces life hack for you there, is to get rid of that pain. It's the pressure on your teeth that's causing the pain. And so those wires are heat activated. So you can actually drink ice cold water, swish it around in your mouth for 30 seconds, and then the pain will go away for about 2 hours because it'll deactivate those wires. It's actually the heat of your mouth that activates those wires in the first place. So anything cold, even some ice cream, will take away some of that pain. That being said, the pain will go away eventually, and then you're gonna have that Hollywood smile that you've always wanted. So it's not that bad after all. What is happening here? Oh my gosh. I think I understand why you guys tagged me in this one, okay? But I'm not gonna go there. In fact, I'm actually going to say that that sugar in that ice cream that she's eating is not causing the problem at all, weirdly enough. Yes, that's correct. The sugar that you're eating is not actually the reason you get cavities. And in fact, some people can eat as much sugar as they want and not get any cavities at all. I know, it's unfair. And it's actually not genetic either. A lot of people say, well, it's just genetic. It's genetics with my family's teeth. That's not true. Well, kind of not true. It's not genetic. It is passed down via your family though. And that is because cavities are formed by bacteria, specifically a bacteria called S. mutans. We're gonna say S. mutans is a termite, and that termite likes to eat wood. Well, S. mutans likes to eat teeth. And the fuel for it just happens to be sugar. So it eats the sugar and then it poops out acid onto your teeth to weaken your teeth so it can eat into it more. So it can eat more carbohydrates, it poops out more acid, and then it keeps eating into your teeth over and over again. So it's not actually sugar, it's carbohydrates, but you know what I'm talking about. That bacteria is passed down from your family. You see, when you're born, you can't get cavities or oral disease at all. You're a blank slate. And then your mother kisses you, or your grandma kisses you, or drinks after you, and then she gives you her oral microbiome. And depending on how much you get from your mother or father, it even determines, like if they just brush your teeth and they kiss you, you're not gonna get too many bacteria. But if they've been waiting all day long, or maybe they're not very good at brushing their teeth, you can get these high bacterial loads. And depending on what your parents give you, well, now you have a chance of getting high periodontal disease or gum disease, or in the case of a high level of strep mutans, you have a really high chance of getting cavities no matter how much you brush. And that is why some people don't have to brush at all and they never get cavities. And that's why some people brush all the time and they get cavities no matter what they do. So next time you get a cavity at the dental office, just blame your parents because it was their fault. Jamie says it's literally Pink Raven's laugh. I knew that sounded familiar to me somewhere. You are exactly right. That is Pink Raven's laugh. Me after taking a bite of the ice cream of worry and confusion. No, that face is actually me realizing that it wasn't my fault all this time. I've been brushing my teeth and I got the cavities because it was my mom's fault. She gave me the bacteria after all. Now that being said, regardless of all the bacteria in your mouth, you still need to brush, still need to floss, do your things. You could have one bacteria, different bacteria, all that. We're working on all that stuff. Obviously something nice. We've got the new biotech stuff that's actually actively working on this problem for the first time ever in oral care. We're not quite there yet. We're only tracking S. mutans, which is cavities, and P. gingivalis, which is gum disease. But as more bacteria we're going to figure it out, okay? Our goal is to try and solve oral disease in 3 to 5 years. So until that happens, you're just going to have to keep brushing and flossing. And you know, if you get a cavity next time, just blame your mother. My orthodontist made me a gap I never had before. Oh, dude, that face. She says, bro, I'm not gonna smile for an entire month. I was gonna say, I was looking at what braces she has, and she has the traditional braces. That's a really common thing we see because there's friction in traditional braces. So when you have crowding and stuff, it goes, they kind of poof out, and a lot of times it creates a gap because there's friction and it kind of pushes the teeth in different ways. A lot of times in those Damon brackets or self-ligating brackets, you don't see that as much because they can slide around and they can kind of fill in the gaps where they go to. But luckily, your orthodontist, as you work up through the wires, you will go eventually into what's called a power chain, and then it will and close up that gap that you're looking at. So a month is probably about as long as you're gonna have that gap. Glitter says, yeah, that's how braces work. They move your teeth. And yeah, exactly, they move your teeth. I mean, I don't know what your teeth looked like before, but you know, they probably moved to where you had a gap. And then Krupka said, I had that too, it's normal. It disappeared after a while. And then A-Bug says, me when I had mines too, bro. I did not smile at all during that time. And you know, that is always an option. You can just not smile for a month if it really bothers you that bad. Because eventually you're gonna be smiling all the time because you're gonna have that Hollywood smile. You know what I'm talking about? Either way, you'll be okay. Trust the process, except it's my unhinged orthodontic treatment, okay? My teeth before were very crowded and overlapping. I can see that. I didn't really like smiling in pictures. I felt like it made me look like a little kid. I could actually see that. Could be the beanie and glasses, but who knows? I tried to convince myself it didn't matter, but it didn't. So at 24, she changed things. Step 1, lower braces. That's a good way to start. Step 2, surgery, installed an MSE, which is basically a surgical expander for adults. Plate expander, 4 screws in the roof of her mouth, incision through the bone above my front 2 teeth. Yeah, that's a gnarly surgery. It's gonna be pretty painful. The surgery was mega painful. There you go. And swelling made me look like I had botched lip filler. That's, you know, at least you got a little pro there. Swollen AF. I had to turn the expander every day to widen my palate. That's kind of the purpose of that MSE, is to widen that palate. It was so painful. I couldn't even do the first full turns as my ortho had instructed. Yeah, it's pretty rough. You can see her cheek really blown out there. This was the first day I did 4 complete turns. It was so painful, it made me cry. That's because that pressure is building up in that suture trying to bust and break. But my teeth started shifting immediately. My husband literally heard a popping sound as they started to shift. That is that suture breaking open. And by the next morning, the gap was beginning to form. That is exactly what happens. That gap should instantly start popping up when that happens. Later that same day, the gap was already started to getting wider. Once you break that suture, it's as easy as pie. You just open up. Just a few days later, that gap is gonna get big, yeah. You can see that smile is getting way wider too. It looks really good so far. 2 weeks gap first started. Valentine's Day, my teeth were still angled, but it is opening there. Once my palate expanded through, I finally got my top braces on. This is where it's probably gonna start looking really good. Teeth gradually stopped flaring out so much. That's because we probably stopped expanding at this point. After 5 months, I had another surgery to remove my expander. It started growing into my mouth, and that does happen sometimes, especially if you don't clean it very good. So if you do have these, make sure you clean it with like a water flosser or something. Now it was time for the rubber bands to fix the bite. Yep, definitely still gotta do all the orthodontics. That gap is way more closed now, as you can see. Then in August, something amazing happened. You got married, oh my gosh, congrats. She still had her braces on, she says, and you can barely even see them in her photo there. Oh my gosh, look at that. Ready to get things off. After only 18 months, that's only a 1.5 year treatment. That's crazy. Look at that, it finally happened. I feel like my face has changed so much. Oh my gosh, it really has. The before, narrow arch, the crowding, everything. Not very happy with her smile, and boom! Dude, that is a great smile. This is living volumes. Dude, what a show. A 1.5 years to get that is crazy fast, and that is probably one of the better adult expander cases I've seen. Congrats, that is a really good one. Bree said, you look amazing. Now please wear your retainers every night for life, trust me. And yes, please, after all that work, wear your retainers. It looks amazing, congrats. All right, we got braces pain levels at 1 hour, hour 1, 0 pain. Dude, wait till the next day, 7 hours, 6 out of 10 pain. Yeah, 10 hours is about where I see it. That's why I say have your last meal. And then next day, 8 out of 10 pain. Look at that. Yeah, braces can be painful and definitely really sore too. It's more like a muscle soreness than like a pain sharp soreness. And definitely that first day is really intense. So something you need to do if you're going to get braces, when you're going in, take some Tylenol or ibuprofen to numb the pain and get ready for that. Let your body start getting ready for that pain. Another thing you should do after you get your braces on is go have a final meal, because it'll probably be the final time that you can have a solid meal for a good week or two. And then make sure to ask your parents to go get you some ice cream, because because these wires are heat activated and you need to have some ice cold water on hand. You can swish around with that or some ice cream or something like that, something cold to deactivate that wire if you want to just get some of that pain relief for a little bit in that first week or two. Now, luckily for you, after that first week or two, that pain goes away. Your body gets used to it and everything is fine from there. She says, oh, wait till you just get them power chains on. Yeah, you know, the power chains are a whole nother story. We'll talk about that another day. No, I'm just kidding. They really aren't that bad. You may be sore for a day, but then it goes away after that. And exactly, Isabella says, okay, but I just got mine off and this is how I feel. That's what it's for. The pain is beauty is pain, because in the end, you're gonna have that Hollywood smile you want. You can be smiling all over the place and the pain would have been worth it.
Day 2 of using orthodontic.
What is that thing?
To open my jaw because I have lockjaw.
Oh my gosh, she says, day 2 of lockjaw therapy. This is a torture device. I'm 14 days post-op of my second jaw surgery. That wowzers. Okay, yeah, she's definitely after jaw surgery. She's got limited opening.
Take the edge off.
And maybe she got lockjaw from the first surgery, or maybe she had lockjaw and they're confirming. I have never seen this device in my life. So if there's an oral surgeon who wants to comment, that looks...
I slipped.
I'm not gonna lie, this doesn't really make sense to me because like lockjaw is normally how the condyle fits in the fossa. Maybe she has so much swelling and pain from the surgery that they're using this to kind of just make sure that everything's moving. But like that can really damage, if you're locked up and the condyle is sitting on top of bone and you're forcing and jamming that bone into the other bone with this, that could actually damage your jaw. So I'm not too sure what this is doing. I'm sure oral surgeons and somebody can help me out here because this is weird because I've seen a ton of videos. I have never seen somebody using a device like this to fix a lockjaw. A lot of times lockjaw is just because it's dislocated or it's messed up. My guess is it's sitting in the right spot, but maybe there's like some scarring from the surgery or something, and then they're trying to make sure that she's maintaining and keeping opening so it doesn't get locked in and get fibrous and damaged from the surgery. But that's scary. Oh my gosh. Hopefully this doesn't hurt her. Please, if you're an oral surgeon, somebody like tell me what's going on here. That thing looks crazy. And a lot of people are saying, do you know what causes lockjaw? What causes lockjaw? Well, it depends. It could be because your disc is out of place and it's dislocated and it needs to be relocated back in case that would be a bad idea to be using something like this. It could be because you've worn down your condyle from bad, chewing over time and you've grinded bone on bone for so long that it doesn't fit anywhere anymore and you're just kind of locked. It could be a bunch of different ways. And a lot of them, this could actually harm it. Forcing open a lockjaw that's bone on bone is a bad idea. So obviously I'm sure their oral surgeon is working with them and there's a reason for this, but it doesn't mean it doesn't look crazy. Does it just me or does this look crazy? Belle says, dear stranger, I am so sorry. And you know what? It's true. I'm feeling for you too. And as the internet's dentist, I'm sorry as well. I hope you get better soon. Alrighty, we got Dr. Morad Shagluf. Composite restoration for anterior badly decayed central incisor tooth. And look at that thing. Oh yeah, that's the forbidden gummy worm there. And no, my man did not eat shoelaces there. You can kind of see that at the very end. Actually, weird, he did that in reverse. So if you look at it from the end there, you can see what we kind of started with. He had a really badly decayed tooth here in the front. And so this is what we call a composite restoration. So you can kind of see from the front again, he built it back up with this. And that little cord that he's pulling out is what we call a packing cord. And so you stuff that in there. And a lot of times they're doused in like epinephrine and stuff to stop any bleeding. And you push that up in the gum tissue so that when you put that composite there, you get a really nice seal so there's no overhanging or problems there. And yeah, it looks pretty crazy, doesn't it? It definitely looks like this guy probably doesn't take as good a care of his teeth as he should. But to be fair, it could just be staining from eating certain things. A lot of times in the Middle East, we see people eating a lot of betel nuts and things like that, and that causes some of that brown staining that we see there. And it does look like this man grinds his teeth a lot because his teeth are flat. So his teeth are definitely, in need of some composite restorations. Looks like this Dr. Morad Shagluf does a pretty good job. So, it looks like he's in good hands, but he's a little like pulling that cord out. Wow. Yeah, that's a solid one. There you go. Raya says, this is disgustingly satisfying. And you know what? That's all of dentistry, really. In the beginning, it's really shocking. My first crazy stuff I saw in dental school, I was like, what is going on? What did I choose this profession for? But by the end, you're numb to it. And then now it's all just fun and interesting to look at. Oh my gosh, Mally with the freaking chew eye. I didn't think it was that gross. This is like borderline. This is like baby stuff. Either way, that's why you got dentists like us to fix it. But you know what you can do to fix something for me is to actually click that subscribe button and follow me because I need to get to 10 million to get this dang bracket on my teeth. And I can't do it without you. So keep tagging me in the videos. I'll see you next week. Hope you have a great day. Bye.